Masamune Kadoya just might be Beyblade's greatest fraud. Although he's easily in my top 3 characters within the series, it's pretty hard being a confident Masamune fan nowadays. Let's analyze where the downward spiral started and how Masamune never recovered after being put on Fraud Watch immediately. With that said, just understand that I am a fan of Masamune and all of this is coming from a non-biased fan, so anyone in the comments who disagrees with me, I'm just gonna assume you're biased because yeah, I have bigger biceps than you. Anyway, now off of his introduction, you would think he's honestly kinda him. Bro intercepts Yu and Tsubasa's fight and then proceeds to make Yu struggle pretty badly, with these two then clashing again for the opportunity to join Japan's team, with Yu's best attack getting overpowered by Masamune. Yu being someone who gave Gingka and Tsubasa back in Metal Fusion a pretty good fight, showing that Masamune should definitely be a force to be reckoned with by this point. But we know that he's out of his league, especially trying to challenge the likes of Gingka with his new Galaxy Pegasus, where he'd proceed to lose so many times that he'd get one cheap W off, and he would just go on claiming to Gingka that he's #1 and he can't challenge him anymore. We do see though early on these two sparring and portraying some kind of relativity with one another, but Gingka is pretty much ahead of Masamune throughout the whole competition, as he usually fights the strongest on the team while Masamune deals with the second or even third fiddles of the team. Which seems really lame, especially given the amount of time bro swears he's #1 and is mainly the #1 guy in losing. Let's actually break down the win-loss ratio for Masamune and Masters, and let me explain why he kinda sucks. Especially given off of his introduction and what you see in the intro, you would think that he's pretty much just gonna be a second to Gingka. But even after the constant talk about being the one to lead the group into the tournament, he ended up becoming the advanced guard after taking a serious L to Jao Shins Virgo, which he almost did win, but in the end he was just using his power too recklessly. This leads into bro going through a training arc after finding a hungry old man who'd basically teach Masamune the one thing Zoro learned as a kid, and how he can pretty much use the same power to destroy a boulder against a leaf and it wouldn't do a thing. Masamune lacked any real concentration and precision in his attacks, and with a much more focused and sharper mind, he'd actually defeat a stronger Jao Shin than the one he lost to. This is a super big W, as not only is this the first real lesson Masamune learns, but he scores Team Gang Galaxy their first ever W in the world tournament. Unfortunately, this is the only 1v1 he actually wins. I am not kidding. Now, the next team Japan has to fight is Russia, where he wouldn't really fight at all. Masamune would get tricked, but he would help expose Team Russia for what they really are, and in some way, shape, or form did contribute to the overall W. But things start to get bad once we enter Julian Concern. You see, Gingka, Masamune, and Yu would go on to challenge Julian and the Whales to a 3-on-3 battle, which resulted in Masamune actually creating a way for the others to get past the duo special move. But that's when they are met with Gravity Destroyer, who completely folds all of Team Gang Galaxy with one attack. This would begin the downward spiral of Masamune and his terrible losing streak, because right after he'd go up against Nile of Team Wildfang, who's pretty much Kyoya's #2, and due to being a reckless hothead yet again, Masamune lost the battle. And the winner of the tournament would be decided through a 2-on-2 battle, which Masamune does manage to last until the very end and secure the W for Team Gang Galaxy. But to me, this is a little bit of a cop-out, as he even admitted himself he couldn't hang in a direct confrontation with Nile and needed Jinga's help. This is supposed to be development for Masamune and him like growing as a character, as now he's fighting smarter and, you know, understands that he's not always going to be the strongest. But this doesn't really apply to much, since this is such a specific situation where this was needed. Like, we have fights before and after this where it shows that Masamune can be a capable fighter if he uses his head right, and we do see the consequences of what happens when he's super reckless. But Masamune securing the W for Team Gang Galaxy just feels like what happened when Masamune fought Jao Shin, but in a worse situation. It's just, oh, Gingka, I can't do this alone. And then the next battle he participates in, he never applies this lesson ever again. And I'm not just talking Masters. Throughout the entire series, bro has to constantly learn that he isn't him. So I don't want to hear people in the comments going, oh, but Masamune's will to win is actually stronger than Kyoya's will to beat Gingka. Who cares? And it looks even worse when Masamune's next battle is against Klaus, the dude who legit is known for his brute force, and we even saw earlier on that he can't deal with the Grand Decalion special move, and yet Masamune could. And you would think since Masamune is smarter now, he would get the W, right? But no. Guess what happens? He gets overpowered by Klaus's strength. What do you know? Masamune Masamune losing to Klaus blatantly feels kinda lame, and in my opinion, this fight should have been a tie. I do really like this battle regardless, but man, Masamune looks so sorry here. Now, Klaus going past his limits does make Masamune look strong, but again, at the end of the day, bro has already learned he isn't number 1, and now he's barely even number 3? And it looks even worse when he fights Team Starbreaker and loses to Zio in both confrontations. And in one of them, he had Gingka helping him. Oh my dude, bro. It is actually so hard being a Masamune fan, bro. Wait. Hold on, chat. I just realized mid-script that I didn't even talk about the Garcia scenario. This man Masamune lost because a girl went, hey, look over there, and hit his bae. Are you stupid? I completely forgot about that. Dude, you, the substitute, has a better win record than Masamune. And this guy was talking about at the beginning of the tournament that he's gonna lead the group, or maybe, hey, what about one of you lose so that I could clutch up at the end? Man, you are the god of fumbling. You wanted to be the clutch god? Anyway, the Zio L is a little justified because Masamune was hesitating and Zio was fighting for Toby and whatnot, and you know, this just shows the whole how much you have to have on the line and how much you are willing to go in order to win, in order to succeed, and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's cool. It's still an L for Masamune, so I don't care. We are in the finals and bro hasn't won a match since the beginning of the A block. The A block! Masamune even goes on to damn near lose to Julian and had to get saved by Niall. And the main way he beat Tempo was mainly through, you know, using the power of friendship. Oh, Toby, come back. You know, like how Naruto was to Obito. But before that, Faust was just completely smacking him around like it was nothing. And he doesn't even do anything again until Metal Fury. And do you think it gets better? Because let me tell you right now, it doesn't. You see, Masamune would get a new striker, that being Blitz Striker. And guess what, guys? He can change modes. He has a little barrage mode. He got a new special move called Flash of Lightning, which is literally just Lightning Sword Flash, but for Blitz Striker. But wow, you know, he's actually strong, showing relativity to King. I wonder if he's gonna win the fight this. Oh, yeah, no. He doesn't want a single one. Even despite getting a new Beyblade and even putting up a decent fight against Nemesis, technically he doesn't even win a single relevant fight he participates in. He does show off relativity to King, but he still loses to him, plus would go on to hype himself up as the Winter Legendary Blader, only for him to get obliterated by Chris's Orion and realizing that he wasn't him. And I find this to be very stupid, by the way, since, as a side note, Masamune earned that star fragment, and basically you just had bro going through everything in Masters just for him to not be one of the main 4 bladers. And instead, it's a character who is literally the most average guy ever. Literally the most bland dude in the entire verse. Like, his fucking name is Chris, bro. Like, he's literally an NPC. Seriously, though, Masamune, despite being one of my favorite characters, is kind of a fraud and has been since the beginning of Masters, which is the same series that introduced him, mind you, so you would expect him to be at least cool here in Layman Fury, right? Like how it was with Yu and Tsubasa, since they were super cool in Fusion, and in Masters they got done a little dirty, more specifically Yu. But let's actually look at Masamune's record. So he catches his first W against Yu, loses to Jinga like 20 times before getting a cheap W, fights Jao Shin, loses against Jao Shin, trains to fight Jao Shin and beats him, so he'd be on the come up, but then get immediately humbled again by Niall, and then immediately humbled again by Klaus, and then loses to Zio, and then saves his best friend, and then gets a new Beyblade, and then loses every single fight that he participates in. Wow. And Masamune's whole character arc in Metal Fury can be just summed up in like 3 words. I ate shit! Now, the idea of accepting things not going your way and you making the best of the situation is nice, and after last season and him succeeding and getting what's most important back to him, it's really nice seeing Masamune get himself together and still be pretty competent even in the bigger scope of Beyblade. It's just unfortunate that the man who constantly brags about being number 1 loses most of his fights, ends up going on a training arc that doesn't matter, is slapped in the face by reality when he claims to be a legendary blader, and is mainly just cannon fodder in the final battle for Rago. What does he even do? Is bro Beyblade's Megami? Nah, but it should go without saying, Masamune, no matter what, never gives up, and his spirit and determination is something we can all learn to have, as confidence is key to success. It just doesn't look that way because Masamune is overconfident and can't win a fight to save his life.